everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Prisma, also known as Gemverse, and today we're doing a speed create-a-sim of these two little fairy sims that you may or may not have seen already. Clearly, if you have seen them, they are going to look a little bit different by the end of this video. This was their OG version is what I'm going to call it because that's what it is. This is them basically before the 16 revisions that I gave them. Obviously I'm exaggerating, it was not 16, but it was probably more like 5, which is still a lot, but I'm indecisive, okay? Don't judge me. But basically, these are the two sims that I'm going to be using for all of my Enchanted by Nature gameplay. They are the Willow Winks, if you can see their little last name up there. The one that you're looking at right now is Button, which a lot of you have seen already because I used her as, I guess, the model for my Enchanted by Nature create-a-sim video that I posted last week. Somebody mentioned that the thumbnail looked different than anything I did in the video, and yes, it did, because that screenshot that I used for the thumbnail was actually taken from this video after I had finished creating her, basically, because I had no other screenshots, and I never know what to make it when I'm doing create-a-sim reviews. I remember I did one for Life and Death and I had to actually post sims and stuff, but I was so busy last week that I just didn't get around to it. So apologies for that, but you will see her in that outfit, or me creating that outfit in this video. And she went through a lot of changes because she has blue hair in this, and in the last video she had the same hair, and it's really cute. I do love the hair, and it fits, but it didn't fit what I wanted for her specifically. There were two very different things in my mind when I was creating both of these sims. I wanted one straight off the bat to be inspired by Tinkerbell and basically be a woodworking-ish mechanical sim, if that makes any sense. I wanted them to be a tinker, basically, and so that's what I did. But that's clearly not Button. That is her sister Teddy, which you will see in the second half of this create-a-sim. But Button, I had really no set plan for, other than I kind of wanted her to be sort of semi-personality wise inspired by Rosetta from Tinkerbell as well. If you remember Rosetta from Tinkerbell, she is this very sassy southern fairy, I guess. I honestly think that they are pretty much the same person. Obviously, my sim is her own person. She's not exactly Rosetta, but I do think that they have a lot of things in common, especially because I also wanted Button to be the more nature-oriented fairy in this duo, I guess. Even though her sister is still nature-oriented, she still loves nature, she's very much down with nature. Button is just different. She is very much a garden fairy, if you could call her that, I guess. She loves her flowers, she loves her plants, she's a plant lover, and she will risk it all for her plants. And that's kind of how I feel Rosetta is, because if I'm not mistaken, she was one of the... Guys, I'm gonna seem like such a fake Tinkerbell fan. I promise I'm not. I haven't seen them in a while, but I don't remember what they're called. Were they like garden fairies or flower fairies or something? I don't know. But that's what she is to me. And so I went through a lot of different phases with her. At first, obviously, she had blue hair. I ended up getting rid of the blue at some point. I made her blonde because that was the original hair color that she had before she was blue. And then I made her orange, like a ginger, which honestly, now that I'm looking at it, it was really, really cute on her, and I think it looked really nice. But then I ended up changing her back to blonde because I don't know, there's something about the blonde that was calling to me. So I ended up using the blonde. I think actually I ended up using the cheese hair, quote unquote, is what I remember the Sims community calling it. It's like that really, not horrific, but it was the original blonde swatch, and it was just very much yellow. It looked like Kraft mac and cheese straight out of the microwave, so there's that. But I think it looks cute on her. And I think at one point she had long hair, and then at one point she had short hair, and then it was just a whole mess. I didn't know what I wanted for hairs. There were so many collections that came out too around the same time as the expansion pack that I didn't know what I wanted to go for. I know Sims Trouble has the what is it called? I mentioned it in the last video. I think they collabed with somebody. Was it Dogsill? No, Dogsill and... Wait, I don't know. Don't... Listen, okay? I'm not good at remembering things. But Sims Trouble came out with a set of, like, fairy hairs. I think it was a collab with another creator. And it's an absolutely amazing collab. I love it so much. But I didn't end up using the hairs just because I feel like they were not fitting right. I feel like a lot of the hairs that I tried on weren't fitting right. And they just weren't what I wanted. I ended up settling on, I think it's a hair by Enrique that's like a little shorter, but it kind of flares out at the end. It's kind of more of a slick hairstyle, I guess. I don't know. It's like, it's very much smooth. And I think that's very much Button's vibe. She doesn't have messy hair. She's a very neat fairy, if you will, even though she doesn't mind getting her hands dirty. Her sister, on the other hand, is a whole nother story, because she is very much, like I said, a little bit of a tinker fairy, and she loves her woodworking. She loves rocket science. She loves basically anything that has to do with handiness. She's a very handy fairy and a very handy sim, and I kind of tried to reflect that in her clothes and her personalities. So you'll see she has goggles on in a lot of her outfits. It'll alternate between actually having her goggles on her face or on her forehead. She has, or had, in this video, she has messier hair, which it doesn't really even look all that messy. It's just long and a little bit more, I guess, unruly than her sister's. It ends up changing. Not in this video, but I did end up tweaking her in her final form, where I just kind of decided to throw the Sims in the game and then, you know, basically said to hell with it, because if I want to change their hair again, I can change it mid-gameplay. It doesn't have to be now. She ended up having blue hair, so she has blue hair now. She's a different hairstyle, and her makeup is a little bit different, so she's changed. So has Button, but she's changed less, honestly. I feel like I was really pretty much happy with her from the start. There are a few outfits in there that I just feel like are not my favorites, but I can always change that pretty easily. I did try and differentiate their fairy forms from their human forms a little bit more after this video, because it just was, I feel like I don't know, something was missing. Something felt like it was missing the entire time. It felt like they were just humans with wing decorations on, which I guess they kind of are. But I also didn't realize that the expansion pack came with tattoos, so after this video I kind of leaned into that. I decided to give them some tattoos, so you won't see it here, but you'll see it later on in the gameplay. So forgive me for that again. I just tend to make a lot of changes in between Create a Sims and gameplay. I don't know why. I'm so indecisive that I just can't play with a sim straight off making them. I have to go back and edit them 50,000 times. I don't know if anyone else is like that or if you relate to me, but yeah. I need to work on that, honestly. It's not one of my best traits. Other than that, I think all I really want to talk about is their clothing, because it's really, really cute. I mixed a lot of different things. I used a few things from the expansion pack, of course, because I love them. Well, some of them. Okay, I'm not going to say I love the entire catalog that came with the expansion pack, because I don't. If you watched the last video, you'll know that I was kind of disappointed in the tops and the bottoms, to be honest. The outfits were better, but they weren't fully my thing. So I used what I liked. I tried to use more of the accessories, and I just ended up using a lot more custom content than I originally had planned to. I thought that I would end up using more of the expansion pack stuff, but we all saw how that went, so custom content it was. I used a few different collections. A lot of them are by either Dogsill or Jollybean or Sims Trouble. Actually, not Sims Trouble. Who am I thinking of? Dogsill, Jollybean. It might have just been Dogsill and Jollybean. I don't know. I know Jollybean has a lot of great fairy stuff that I lean on, a lot more whimsical stuff. I think I also ended up using a lot of clumsy alien stuff because I love their tops specifically, and also their skirts are really, really nice. I used a couple of those here too. they're just great. And so are the hairs that come with their CC packs. They're so good. I love them. This is just like a custom content creator showcase at this point. But yeah, I ended up doing that. I also used this set of like dresses. I don't know if you see it in this video, but I definitely ended up using them. It was a set of dresses by Shorely Sims. It was like a conversion, I think, from either The Sims 3 or another game. I'm not really sure. But they look so cute. I love them so much. They kind of remind me of Oktoberfest a little bit, but I thought they fit so well. So I think I ended up using one for... I keep forgetting their names, which I shouldn't be, but I ended up using it for Teddy. I actually want to mention how I came up with their names. The name Willowwink just came to me in a dream. I think I actually made it up literally on the spot. I put more thought into their first names than I did their last names. I just wanted something that sounded ridiculous, to be honest, like something what is it called? Like a fairy in Pixie Hollow would have. So Button was basically, it sprouted from the idea that, in my opinion, fairies should have, not should have, but fairies in my head have names that are very much named after things in real human life, if that makes any sense. They're so teensy that they find these things on the ground or wherever, and they think they're so cool, so they named themselves after them. So Button was inspired by my mother's little tin of buttons that she had when I was little. She still has it, but it's just in a different container now, which is kind of sad, to be honest. But yeah, she had this tin of buttons that I was obsessed with. I would play with it all the time for some reason. I just loved it, and I still do. It's something that I remember very vividly. So I named Button after that tin of buttons. And then her sister Teddy was named after the fact that I had so many different teddy bears growing up, and I still have them. They're either in my garage or in my bedroom. They're everywhere, basically, and I can't stop. I love them so much. I keep buying them, and I shouldn't, but I'm just obsessed with them. I love things. I have this weird, it's not weird, I wouldn't say it's weird because it's just me. But I have this thing where if I see a stuffed animal or any inanimate object at a store or at a flea market or wherever I go, and it doesn't look, it's just there, it doesn't look like anyone's paying attention to it, it makes me really sad, and it makes me immediately want to buy it, if that makes any sense. So I collect things like that all the time. I think I literally I tried to buy a broken piece of like foam whale once at the store because it was broken and it made me sad, and I thought that nobody was gonna buy it. It's just like this whole thought process that I have all the time. I didn't end up getting it because it was like $40 and I couldn't justify that, but I hope that foam whale is having a great life wherever it is, and I'm hoping it's not destroyed. I'm trying not to think about that. That makes me sad. But yeah, I love inanimate objects. I treat them like my little babies. So anyways, that was a rant, but yeah, that's where Teddy's name came from. I love her. And did I talk about her outfits? I don't think I did. I tried to give her more of a kind of, I don't know what you would call this style. It's just very much like, it's not Victorian, but she just has more like jumpsuits. It's more of a mechanic's wardrobe, I guess. Not really. I don't know. I tried to think of what a whimsical mechanic would look like, and this is what I came up with. So she has her goggles, she's got her jumpsuits. Some of the jumpsuits, like her first one, it's not technically a jumpsuit, it's just like a corset overall set is what I would call it, I guess. It has little puffed sleeves. It's very cute. And then she's got her brown boots. I love them. She's got her bracelet. So cute. And she wears a lot more kind of intricate clothing, I think, than her sister does. Kind of, not really. I don't know. I don't want to call it more intricate because there are a few things that are more plain, but I just feel like her outfits have a little bit more character, and I think it's mainly the headpiece, like the goggles, that add to it. I don't know. And then her hair also here, I was struggling a lot with her hair because I was also trying out colors. I didn't know if I wanted to go for the cheese hair. I think I ended up keeping her blonde in this video, like a lighter blonde. And then eventually, like I said earlier, she ended up with blue hair. So it's just a whole process. It really is. All in all, I loved making these Sims. I really did. I love them so much. I'm kind of obsessed with them, honestly. I made Teddy first, like a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half ago. I don't know when I created her, but it was a little bit ago when the expansion pack got released, and I was just obsessed with her. And originally I was just gonna play with her, but then I was like, I really want to have 2 Sims to be able to explore things with and not limit myself to attaching all of these different features to one Sim. So we ended up with Teddy and Button, and I love them so much. I just really enjoyed making them. I really enjoyed making them over. It was a little bit stressful because I kept going back and forth and changing my mind about things, but overall it was a really fun process. And I think that's about it from me, besides the traits. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the traits, even though I don't quite remember what they ended up with. I know that the Enchanted by Nature expansion pack came with a few different traits. I think we had the disruptive one. I didn't end up using that one because I didn't want either of them to be disruptive, but I did think about it for Teddy for a second. And then we had the plant lover trait. Obviously, Button got that one. She's very much about her gardening. And then I think we got one that was like nature lover or something, or that might have been an aspiration, but I think I ended up giving Button the apothecary aspiration or whatever it was, the elixir one. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it basically focuses on like apothecary cures and stuff, because I wanted to use her for that. And then I think I ended up giving Teddy just the fairy stories one. I think in this video it's different, but I did switch them because I noticed that I did them in reverse, which I shouldn't have done, but I don't even know how I did that. Anyways, yeah, I ended up switching them so they reflect their personalities a little bit better and what I want to do with the actual household. And then after this video, I did give them their likes and dislikes, just like a few basic things, because I didn't want them to be like empty shells, if that makes any sense. I wanted them to have their own personalities like already set, so I did set a few likes and dislikes and turn-ons and turn-offs and whatever. And I do still want to make other Sims to put in the actual world to interact with them, because I have seen a few Sims around the world and they are very, very cute. But I just want a little bit of a storyline, a little bit of drama. So we'll see what I end up doing, but it's definitely gonna take me a little bit to do that because I'm already a little bit burnt out from being in Create a Sim for so long. But now that is actually it from me, because I have nothing else to talk about, and I've been talking for 20 minutes straight, even though the voiceover will probably be shorter because I need to cut some things out. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you all very, 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 very much. If you liked the video, of course, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment while you're at it. I love responding to your guys' comments, and I read every single one of them. They make me so incredibly happy. So just know that if you leave a comment, I love you so much. I can't wait to play around with Enchanted by Nature with you guys a little bit more. But until then, I'm gonna have to wish you farewell. Again, I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in another video soon.